me about that, yeah. So 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the water flowing by
From other people.
from your neighbors.
Right.
We're here at where are we? South Genesee? South
Orange.
South Orange. Sorry, South Orange. So we're running from a clean out in the backyard, which is a two-way clean out, which goes under the house or towards the street. So right now we're going towards the street, and the water you see is the city sewer. The pipe that we see here is called cement pipe. It's something that was almost 100 years old. They're not allowed to use that anymore because it is very, it cracks. Yeah, it cracks, and it's if the city inspectors were to see it, they say you need to dig into the street to fix.
Oh, I see.
Everything else can possibly be done from connects to it. So if you can imagine a horse is bigger and then the saddle sits on it, it's kind of oblong and kind of bends.
Okay.
So what we're looking at is that saddle. Yeah. I don't see any breaks or separations in that saddle. Good, because there's things we could do to repair or fix or replace this pipe without dealing with the city, and that's that saddle.
A positive thing, yeah.
So, but like I was saying, this is a 6-inch pipe. This is original to the house, and it's made out of cement. My recommendation is if you were to do any work and have access to this pipe, meaning replacing pipe, I would epoxy line this pipe, which is putting a new pipe inside of an old pipe, like a stent in your heart, which will allow us to work from your property and stick something in there that will make it without having to break it or separate it.
That's the trenchless thing they talk about.
No, this is called an epoxy liner. I'll explain the trenchless later. With an epoxy liner, you only need one hole to work, meaning if you can imagine the sock on your foot, if you were to take that sock and first you dig down, expose that pipe so you have an opening. You cut the pipe out of the way and you have an opening. You take a sock material, it's cotton on the inside and plastic on the outside. We pour epoxy in that sock. We smooth it all out and get the cotton part to absorb all the epoxy. We then take the tip of the toe of the sock and we turn it inside out like you would turn a sock inside out onto your elbow. But you push it into the pipe and now it's inside out. And what that does is that puts the cotton on the outside and the plastic on the inside.
Oh, that's great.
We then stick a balloon in there and expand it. It gets hard like a rock. And we pop the balloon, pull it out, and now you have a new pipe within an old pipe, only dealing with one hole. So that's what epoxy lining is, And this, I would recommend if you were going to expose this pipe to do any other work, I would, even though it's in working order,
do epoxy liner.
The epoxy liner would be half the price if you were doing other work at the same time. If you were to do it at a later date, it would be thousands of dollars more, because you'd have to redo all the work that we've already done. As you can see, there is roots in this line, so it's not like it's 100% beautiful, and we're going to do work to something that may not need it. But there is some issues, not major issues, but there are things we can do to clean this line better. But because of the material of the pipe, it could crack it. So we kind of don't want to.
See the cockroach?
Where'd you go? They're running. We got a runner. Where'd he go? Yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff in these lines. When you have two eyes pointing back at you.
He's like, oh, sorry about that.
So this, once again, this is another larger root intrusion. You can see there's a separation and kind of a break in the pipe right there. This might be, you can see, if I'm having a hard time pushing something over it, that means things could get hung up on there like paper and such, which could cause a stoppage like you probably had. So this cement, and then it looks like it might turn to clay here. See that?
That's the
so this is
stuff?
this is clay pipe. This is the pipe that runs from the house, from the clean out we're at, all the way to your side of the sidewalk. That's the property line. So it goes 4-inch clay to the property line, and then from there it expands to 6-inch cement pipe, which then goes into the street. So this would be the area that we would need to locate in order to see about replacing it.
Is this underwater? Or it's the
no, that's just sewer gas. Yeah, it's gases. You've heard of sewer gas before. Now you're seeing it.
I did not know that.
So this is 4-inch clay pipe. It's original to the house. You can see how it goes from 4-inch and then drops into a 6-inch. So that's what's going on here. As we're pulling it back, there's some issues with this line. You can see here see that white part there? That pipe is offset and it has moved.
So that means on the other side
it's the opposite, right? That could cause roots to grow in. You can see it here too.
Yeah.
So there's something going on where the pipe is separating. If that was your only issue, I'd say don't worry about it. No big deal. There's, it's still in working order. But there is some bigger issues as I pull it back from the sidewalk area to the clean out I'm at. And you can see here on the top of that pipe is broken.
Yeah.
You got a broken pipe there.
Yeah, this is my husband, Richard. This
Hello,
is Chris.
Richard. I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Do you want to sneak in here and take a look? You're more than welcome.
We've just come from the city to the city bit in the street.
Yeah,
through
this
the
yeah
clay, and through the
cement.
cement, and now we're in the
Yeah,
clay.
there's a cement pipe which is 6 inches in diameter from the city connection to the sidewalk, and then from there it reduces to 4 inch. From here to there is 4 inch clay. We were just explaining how there's some offset pipes, and now there's a broken pipe on the top. It looks like there's some roots growing into it. All the roots that you see will grow back in time. They're probably not as bad as they were because you had it cleaned out, and they probably ripped those roots out, but in time it will be an issue.
You saw a cockroach too. What? He was like, ah, and ran away.
Yeah, so here's another root intrusion. You see this one, that's a little bigger. You see how it's
Yeah.
closing up on both sides, and then you have
That's
something.
that's the
Yeah,
repair.
this
Oh,
is,
wow.
it's also
Okay.
it's in a couple of spots. So as I pull it back, you'll see that this is pretty much, things could get things could get clogged on there. I shouldn't have done that. Now my camera straight. Now we're not going to have a very good view because of this. Maybe let's see. There we go. So as I pull it back more, so you have some issues with this pipe. Now, here's another spot that's bad.
Yeah.
Can you get by maintaining it and cleaning it? There are other machines we can use besides the snake that they ran, which is called a hydrojetter.
Yeah.
Hydrojetting it is around $650. We would give you a break because we're doing the camera, because you need the hydrojetter and the camera together.
Right.
Because you're doing the camera now, we'd give you a break on the $650 hydrojetter if you were to do it in the next week or so. So it would probably be like $100 off, like $550. This would clean the line more thoroughly, get rid of those roots, expose why the roots are growing in, and you could do that. Yeah, you can do that every 6 months to a year at $650. It doesn't really help the situation. It just maintains it.
Yeah.
My theory in life is fix it once and never have to deal with it again. So I'd hate for you to throw thousands of dollars at repairing it for the next few years and still have a bad line that is going to have to be changed eventually.
Right.
So you can see right here, we're underwater.
Still.
Yeah. So you can see we're underwater here.
And we're not supposed to be underwater?
No, that just means that the water's not draining. It's either level or going uphill.
Okay.
We would repair this section at that time too.
And whereabouts would that be? 4 feet?
Yeah, it's right in here.
Okay.
It's right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to stop the recording. I'm going to keep talking and explain to you what the trenchless or the trenchless pipe bursting method is. I don't know if you explained it to you.
Yeah, we had trenchless done last time, but
so
the epoxy I didn't know about.
In Northern California.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's 2 holes, one there, one at the 6x4.
You pull it through, and it goes through, shatters the pipe as it goes.
And feeds a new one in its
Feeds
place.
a new one through.
And it worked brilliantly for the next 10 years. So
They're great.
Yeah.
So it's always best if you can do a pull, because you're actually changing the pipe to a thicker plastic bendable pipe that can move with the ground if it ever moves.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. The problem is with the pull you need 2 holes,
Okay.
one in the front, one in the back, and pull it through.
So when you say front, are you talking right at the street?
No, at the 4x6, which is your property line on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So that's where the 4-inch pipe is. So we would replace the 4-inch pipe from here to the sidewalk, your side of the sidewalk, in your front area. And then from there we would have a 6-inch pipe, which is then going under the street.
Yeah.
We only have 1 hole.
Right.
And that's where the epoxy
And that's where we would do what's called an